YouTube, what it do? It is your boy Prince Maverick spinning the block. We back around again on the YouTube machine, man, and we here to talk about our boy Mason Rook. I don't really know this dude. I actually just discovered who he was when he pulled up to the scene at NXT a couple of weeks ago. Didn't know this dude from Adam, to be honest with you. But all I do know is that 2 weeks into his NXT run, and Mason Rook is already one of the most talked about new names of wrestling, but not for the reasons you would expect. What are we talking about, Prince? So Mason Rook, right? This dude pulled up to the scene at NXT just a couple of weeks ago, and within the last couple of weeks, the internet already turned into a full courtroom case. Like the jury, the judge, the jury is out. You got the damn gavel on the stand. Everybody just Judge Judy suit on. Everybody just ready. Got the gavels ready. Everybody just ready to judge this dude and cast him off. They ready to cast this dude off so far away, he might as well change his name to Robin Williams. That's how far everybody's trying to cast this dude away, man. But let's not be so quick to keep our judgment of him right now where it's at today. Let's try to work on developing where our judgment stands along with him, because a lot of people are making some pretty good points that I've actually seen on the interweb machine about how a lot of people didn't really start off with a good presentation. My thing with Mason Rook is that it's not about his physical size, you know? He could be any fucking shape he wants. He could be shaped like a damn oval. All I care, I don't give a fuck. Bro, as long as you actually come in and actually feel intimidating and actually come across as a real threat, then you ain't got no problem with me, son. It doesn't matter how large you come in or how small you are. You can at least give me some intensity. Show me that you have and carry believability with you. I'm gonna ride 10 toes with you, dog. But unfortunately, myself and a lot of other people, as of right now, do not feel the same about Mason Rook. And that's okay. You know, it's okay for everybody to be divided on this right now, because he's gonna grow. I honestly believe, even though, you know, my man's is you know, I'm sitting there like, bro hasn't even had time to warm up in the PC, and we already debating on his entire future. You know what I mean? But to be fair, this is a real conversation that needs to be had. And it's a real conversation that's happening right now. I'll be honest. This is fair criticism why people wouldn't accept his look. I get it. Man, I ain't gonna lie. I thought he was like Ellen DeGeneres' cousin hitting the scene. I thought this dude was Ellen DeGeneres' gay cousin hitting the scene or some shit. You know, I thought he was her lesbian cousin or some shit like that. You know, with the fucking mop hair and everything, the blonde, slick face, no facial hair. You know, my man's just, you know, the way he posed, he just looked like he was not very intimidating. No, I'm not gonna slander. We don't do that here on the channel, man. We're not gonna be about that life. But my man's just, you know, man, I wanted to believe him, but it's gonna take some time. Who is this cat? Who is Mason Rook? Well, I did a little bit of digging. It wasn't a lot, but I did my due diligence. Apparently, Mason Rook made a name for himself on the indie scene, which is obvious. He had a solid catchphrase that people like. Apparently, John Cena tweeted this dude on X, so that's got to mean something, right? I mean, you get a shout out from one of the GOATs to do it, then that's got to mean something. You got to be going somewhere, right? If John Cena is willing to tweet you out. Even I was surprised by that, because I didn't even know this dude from Adam. I didn't know who the fuck Mason Rook was, or Will Cruz. Clearly, he got something going for himself. That's something, right? But it worked in that environment, in the indie scene. My question is, will that translate to NXT and then later on the main roster for WWE? I am curious. Your boy's very curious, man. And now he's in NXT where everything is different. The lights, brighter. The audience, louder. Internet, way more ruthless, dog. So you got to be 10 toes, man. You got to be on his P's and Q's, pretty much stepping up his game and perfecting his craft. So yeah, first impression does matter a lot. To be completely honest with you guys, I was not impressed. That's not slander. That's not, trying to be derogatory or anything like that. I just wasn't moved. And that's the issue I'm having with pro wrestling right now. A lot of people were not necessarily moving me. I'll give you this. I even seen on the X machine, right? I seen a clip on X of Brody King hitting a sea of moves on somebody. And you want to know what somebody actually said in that clip? Like, hey, I already know he was a sicko, an AEW sicko. And I already know he was also a Tony Khan dick rider. But regardless, he puts in this clip, put all the belts on him, Prince. Put all the belts on him. He did such a cool move. He did such a cool move. That was so awesome. Put all the belts on him. He deserves to be world champion. And I'm just sitting there like, these kids, man. These freaking millennials probably do. You never know. Or it could be a longer wrestling fan who's been watching this shit just as long as me and you. And that makes it even more embarrassing. Like, yo, be for real, man. But I will say this. If I see Brody King in the supermarket, I bet you I recognize him. He's got a familiar look. I don't really give All Elite Snooze Fest Pro Wrestling that much credit, but Brody King, I bet you I recognize him. He's got a familiar look. Nobody else in wrestling at this very moment looks like him. I will say that. Mason Rook, I just might pass him up at your local Walmart or Kroger's or some shit like that, without even saying a word. That's the difference. Presence is everything. You see? I had to split it down the middle just to keep it fair. Brody King is also on the heavier side when it comes to his actual weight and size. He's there, but you feel his presence the moment he hits the scene or hits the camera on television. If you run across this dude in real life, he's bad news. Mason Rook, I don't get that feeling, dude. And that's what I'm waiting to get. I hope that we get that since he's in the right spot with Shawn Michaels, especially down at NXT. He's definitely in the right spot. Now let's talk about what people are actually saying. And I want to be clear. It's not about size or anything like that. It's more about whether the character immediately reads as someone you buy in a match. Let's break it down, y'all. This is what it's all about. Especially in big match situations. You really need him to have that presence in big match situations, in big fight fields, man. You need that. In wrestling terms, you just gotta look tough, my nigga. Plain and simple. And right now, I can honestly see why the IWC community is split on how they feel about this cat right now. I get it. I totally get it. But one thing we absolutely gotta stop doing, y'all, is just icing a wrestler the minute they come on the scene. It's like when a new wrestler shows up, Twitter decides in 48 hours if they're going to be world champion, if they're going to be TNT champion, or opening up matches in the PLE pay-per-view, bro. There's no in-between for wrestling fans. They determine where you are based on what you carry, how you look. Wrestling fans really said, we seen 12 seconds of his interest. Verdict is in. Yep, he's gonna be a jobber. Yep. So much for that. Hey, I think the Young Bucks, I think LA Knight, I think Sheamus, I think a lot of folks have something to say to you. I think a lot of these men have something to say to you, bro. For those people with those type of opinions, man. But yeah, back to Mason Rook, dude. Presentation is everything. In pro wrestling, presentation, if you don't have it, you just don't wrestle. You sell a character, the interest, the face, the confidence. All of that matters, bro. It's all tied into one before a single move even happens, dog. Plain and simple. Go back to your Mick Foleys. Go back to your Big Shows, your Umagas. Yeah, they had a size with them because a lot of people were making this point also on the interweb machine. Yeah, they had a size with them, but they also carry a lot of intensity. They made you believe they can whoop your ass on the street if they ran across you, son. And I believe that. You should have too. Especially people like Umaga or fucking Kane or Big Show. They made you believe they could whoop your ass. But also, let's be real. Let's look at the other side of the coin. Because there's two sides to this story. Don't forget. There's plenty of guys in wrestling history who didn't fully click right away. Sometimes it takes tweaks, character adjustments, even just time in front of crowds, And that's another reason why I'm actually glad I've seen a report somewhere on the Twitter machine that they're actually bringing back live events for the summer just to test it out in WWE. I'm glad they're doing that, bro. Because they should have never took away the live events anyways. You got people racking up on injuries and shit. You got people actually going home early, taking time off. Like, come on, man. NXT especially is basically a live testing lab for future stars like him. He's definitely in the right place, man. But it's all about how he develops. Where NXT is right now, NXT, it's in a dark place for its men's division. And this is where my criticism comes in when it comes to Mason Rook hitting the scene the way he did. The men's division is stacked, but it also sucks down in NXT. It's not that great. It's not. And we need people like him to actually, develop pretty quickly, I don't want to rush this guy, but, bro, I don't know, man. I'm just not sold on the look right now. The pressure is definitely on from the entire community right now, including myself, for this cat. Because I actually do want to see what he turns into. I have strong criticisms about him. I don't like his look right now. I don't like his feel. I don't like his presence. I barely even like his name, but I'm going to just leave it at that. Hopefully within the next 2, 3, 6 months even, this, my opinion, changes. So to wrap this thing on up, man, with Mason Rook, I'm not calling it a hit or miss this early. It's more like he's in the stage where the presentation hasn't fully locked in yet. I'm going to just put it like that. That's probably the best way to describe it. For me, it's just not locked in yet. We're just not there. You know what I'm saying? We're not 10 toes yet. And the internet is doing what it always does, crying like some little bitches, overreacting, But that's wrestling. First impressions is everything, and adjustments matter even more, dog. And I think homeboy going just, little do we know, he'll fuck around and probably turn into another Sheamus or something. I felt the same way about Sheamus. I mentioned him earlier. I felt the same way about Sheamus. He was white, pacey, creamy. I didn't like him. But then, down the line, his look grew on me. I realized that Sheamus was cool because he was different. So we'll see, man. We'll see. But shout out to the entire gang. Let me know how y'all feel about this. How do y'all feel about Mason Rook, bro? Do y'all like his catchphrase? Does anybody else know him or knew about him, before me? Shout out to your boy. Are fans being too hard? Or is the presentation something you either have immediately or don't? Drop it down below. We out this piece. See you.